Hello everybody, my name is RetroBoy03, and welcome to my analysis video on set number 75954, the Hogwarts Great Hall from the 2018 Harry Potter line. This set comes with 10 minifigures, 878 pieces, and will retail for around $100 when it is released on August 1st, 2018. And yes, I have already done an analysis video on this set when pictures were first revealed back in February, but I have a couple of reasons for updating that video here. The first one is that video was just in really bad quality, so I wanted to make a better quality version. Secondly, we've gotten a lot more pictures since that first day, so now I can give a much more thorough analysis since we know a lot more about what's in the set. Also, since it's been a few months, I've been able to more properly formulate my opinions. So this analysis will be more based off of what I actually think of the set, rather than, oh my god, there are new Harry Potter sets, hype. Yeah, but there's also another reason why I'm making this video, but that'll be a bit of a surprise for later down the line. Yeah, but anyway, starting off, here's just sort of the main set image for the set that shows off everything included. We'll go more in depth on all of the side builds and minifigures later, but just starting off by looking at the Great Hall, it's a very nicely designed build. I think the hall itself, from the exterior, looks very nice. You have a lot of nice shaping there. On the roof, you actually have a new sort of like cheese slope piece where it's a 1x1 that's halfway up and halfway down. On the roof of the hall itself, there are 12 of them. Yeah. This set also gets the Nexo Knight's pyramid pieces in tan, which is nice, and just in general, a lot of recolors in addition to several new molds. You can see on top of the Gryffindor Tower and the little spire at the front of the Great Hall, like the entrance doors. There are ski poles in green atop the towers, sand green to be precise, and I also like that there's definitely some rocks around the base of the Great Hall here, you know, in order to make it seem more like it is on a cliff, as it is in the films. Here's just a bit of a closer look. Yeah, you can see that there's a little plank extending off of the Great Hall and the tower, so that you can have Hagrid greeting the first years as they come into Hogwarts, although really he would be on the boats with them, so this plank would better be suited for McGonagall, I guess, but yeah, you can also see that on the tower you actually have some brick constructs used to make up the sides of the gray spire, which is an interesting design to say the least. I like it. I'm not a huge fan of all the super obvious stickers on the sides of the tower, though. I kind of wish that maybe they had just put like big stickers over the entirety of those big curved wall pieces, as just having a couple of smaller stickers on them really does stand out. So that's a bit of a complaint. Yeah, I mean, like, I still think this model looks really good from the front, though. You have a lot of nice exterior detail. I like the variations in the colors, with the occasional nougat color replacing the standard tan. Yeah, here we have more of a direct front view. Here you can see that the included boat fits 4 minifigures. And you can also see the side of the tower a bit better. You can see that the bottom layer is constructed a bit differently. The bottom of the tower is actually constructed pretty similarly to how LEGO did the Hogwarts towers back in the 2010 Hogwarts line, which is kind of interesting. Cool to see. You can also see a Technic pin on the side there, which is how this set will connect to 75953 Whomping Willow. Yeah, you can see that in front of the main doors, you have a nice railing, which I think is a cool design. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I think it's cool to get. You have a clock up there above the doors, which is nice. And you can see that there's even a little side entrance to go into the tower, which is another nice detail. And I am glad to get the big entrance doors to the Great Hall, because of course the 2010 version just had a little standard, just a little castle door piece, while this one has these two absolutely ginormous doors, which I think are a lot more accurate and just are a lot more grandiose. So yeah, this set's pretty great from the exterior, but the interior is pretty great as well, and I apologize for any rain in the background. I can't exactly help that, but anyway, sorry about that. But anyway, you can see that there is a lot of detailing on the interior, but we can also see a bit more of the design for the Great Hall. You can see how the spires and the roof are constructed from the back. And you can also see that on the side, you have that nice large window, which I think is pretty cool to get. It's a nice design. Rather simply built, but it's nice and looks pretty accurate. But going a bit more in depth to go inside of the model, you can see that the main Great Hall, you actually have a lot of nice detail in there. You have the 4 house tables, which aren't accurately placed. They should all be going 4 side by side instead of having 2 rows of 2, but to be honest, I think this still works pretty well. You can see that the stools are actually just 1 plate thick instead of 2, but seeing as how all of these figures have short legs and are just standing on the stools, I think that's fine and works well. You have a hearth in the back of the hall, which is nice. You have the new candle mold for the floating candles, which I really like that candle mold. Glad to see that it's appearing in not just this set, but in a couple of others. If I'm correct, it also appears in the Whomping Willow set, which is good to see. And here we get 4 of them, obviously again floating above the tables, just like in the books and films. You can see McGonagall there at the staff table, which I think is a nice design. You get 3 seats there. One of them is a bit more ornately built for Dumbledore to sit at. But yeah, on the wall you have a clip for a broomstick, and then above you have a couple of banners for Gryffindor and Slytherin. And what's nice is that those are both reversible, so the Gryffindor one has a Hufflepuff design on the back, and the Slytherin has a Ravenclaw design on the back. So, while I think it would have been best if we got 4 different banners so you could choose between any of the 4 houses to have displayed at once, I still think this is a pretty nice idea to at least have representation for all 4. Because, of course, normally LEGO Harry Potter only lets us represent Gryffindor and Slytherin, so it's good to have representation for the other houses. But, yeah, anyway, going into the tower, you can see that the bottom floor is pretty simple. You just have a spiral staircase with a frog on a little pedestal. Don't know what that's about, but that is certainly there at the bottom. If that's a reference to something, you can tell me down in the comments below, but, yeah. The next floor up is a potions room, and you can see Dumbledore's in there, and honestly, this room seems a bit bland to me. Like, it looks like you only get a cauldron and a couple of bottles, but it's still fine, just maybe a bit bland for my tastes. The next floor up is a storage room, which has the sorting hat in there, as well as a new spider mold. Well, not a new spider mold, but the newer spider mold from last year. And you also have a treasure chest, and I'm quite interested to see what's in there. Maybe the Philosopher's Stone? Maybe a pair of woolen socks. We may never know until the set comes out. Anyway, wait, shoot, I already showed you that, sorry. The top floor, though, is definitely the most interesting. The Mirror of Erised. And this is a really nice design. It actually uses 5 stickers to get that design on there, but honestly, I think it works pretty well. You can see that it's just held in there at the top. It is, of course, removable, and there is actually something hidden behind that, but yeah, it's pretty cool to get the Mirror of Erised here. You can see that there is a sticker on the mirror pane for Harry, as well as his parents, Lily and James, because, of course, that is Harry's greatest desire, to have a family, so it's pretty great to get that design on the mirror. And yeah, this is a pretty cool build. But the mirror isn't done just yet, because the set also includes this alternate panel featuring Quirrell with the Philosopher's Stone, which is pretty cool to see. And while I don't have a picture of it here, I do know that the back of this banner actually has a design of Ron with the Quidditch cup and being head boy on the back of this piece. I don't remember where I saw it. I think it was in Brick Show's video on the Harry Potter sets, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, so we do know that this will have an alternate design on the back, so my question is, will the other one also have an alternate design? Like, maybe the pane with Harry and his parents on the back will just have Harry with the stone. I don't know, just a thought. Maybe we would have Dumbledore with a pair of socks, since, well, I mean, I doubt they would include Dumbledore's actual greatest desire, although I think it's more likely that we would just see Harry with the stone. The next side build we get in this set is a nice boat to take your students across the lake to Hogwarts. I mean, it's basically just the standard LEGO boat piece that we've been seeing, I think, since 1989, just the small single-piece rowboat design. But you do have a little build in the front to have a little lantern, which I think is nice, and since all the figures in the set have short legs, you can actually fit up to 4 students in the boat, which is pretty cool in my opinion. As, of course, in the movie and the book, the students also went in groups of 4 on the boats, which, pretty cool attention to detail there, I must say. But anyway, the next build has to be the most disappointing thing. Not in this set, but the most disappointing thing in any LEGO Harry Potter set from the new line. This basilisk. This basilisk, man. What can I even say about it? First off, just look at how small it is. I mean, like, I don't have it in comparison to anything else, but, like, you can look at the fact that each segment is a 2x2 plate. You can imagine how small this thing is in comparison to how absolutely gargantuan the actual basilisk was. Also, why is it black and gray? I mean, LEGO, could you not have done something to hide the ball joints? Or at least made the actual snake green? And why are all the segments just square? The basilisk should not have squared off segments to it. It should not have segments in general. It should look like a snake. Why, LEGO? Why did you even include this basilisk in here if it looks this bad? I mean, this looks nothing like the basilisk. I really don't know what they were going for here. Like, I guess that maybe they wanted to just include the basilisk just to add a bit of play to this set, but they really didn't even need to bother, because this is just bad. I mean, I really hope that this isn't all we're getting for the basilisk. I hope that maybe in Wave 2 they'll do a Chamber of Secrets set with an actual basilisk. You know, it could also have, like, Ginny and Lockhart, but I really hope that does happen, because it'll be pretty disappointing if this is what we're left with. But yeah, don't worry. Everything gets a lot better after this, though. Starting with Fox the Phoenix, another brick-built animal, the difference being that here, Fox actually looks pretty good. In fact, I actually prefer this brick-built Fox to the original 2002 mold. I don't know why. Maybe it's the better range of color? I don't know, I just feel as though this does look a lot like Fox. Maybe it has something to do with the head, I don't know, like, but just in a few pieces, this is a pretty awesome looking fox. I'm proud of you, LEGO. I mean, obviously, this is just a purged version, and again, if LEGO did a Chamber of Secrets set, I could imagine that we get a different design of fox where he would be flying. But yeah, good job, LEGO. But yeah, anyway, of course, side builds aren't the only thing in this set, or builds in general. The set also comes with 10 great minifigures, the first of which is Harry Potter himself. And this guy looks pretty great. He has that brand new hairpiece we're seeing in all of the Harry Potter sets for him. It looks pretty messy, pretty accurate, and there's a little parting on the side around his scar, which is pretty good to see. I think the face print looks really accurate to Daniel Radcliffe at this age, and the torso, while very simple, has some nice detailing to it and is definitely quite accurate. Short black legs, of course, and you can also see that he has the new wand piece in dark brown. So yeah, pretty great figure. He does get an alternate face, which you can see here, where he is very scared, and I love this face. I think that this one also looks so much like Daniel Radcliffe. But while this face, and well, just this figure in general, look nearly perfect, the next figure is actually perfect. Ron Weasley. I mean, look at that face. How can you say no to that face? It's beautiful. Probably one of the best likenesses I've ever seen on a minifigure. That scared face looks just like Rupert Grint, and it is... I'm really proud of you, LEGO. Also, I'm surprised at how well the Luke Skywalker hairpiece works for him. Like, when I first saw this set, I really didn't like it that much, but it's really grown on me. Like, the parting is in just the right place, and while it is definitely a bit too messy around the back, I feel as though, at least from the front, this hair is pretty much spot on, so I can totally see why LEGO opted not to give him a new hair mold, because he really didn't need one. Same torso as Harry, but anyway, you can see that this is Ron's, I guess this would be his primary face, where he's just sort of smirking, and again, this face also looks pretty much just like young Rupert Grint. Good job, LEGO. You've made me proud. The next figure, though, is Hermione, and this figure, to start with, is not exclusive. Nearly all of the figures in this set are only in this set, at least in Wave 1. Whether they're actually exclusive, or, in the case of Harry and Ron, just unique combinations of parts, but this exact Hermione also comes in the Whomping Willow and the Quidditch match. So, definitely, probably the most common minifigure from Wave 1 overall, but Hermione still looks pretty nice. I really like the hairpiece she has. It looks pretty much perfect, just the style. It looks very messy. It just looks great. I'm in love with this hairpiece. She has the same torso as Harry and Ron, and no skirt for her, but honestly, I can't really think of how LEGO would have accomplished the skirt on a short-legged minifigure, so I don't really mind. But, the face, I feel, here is pretty accurate. I mean, it's definitely not as good as Harry or Ron. I feel as though maybe LEGO could have done something like maybe just with the sides of the mouth to make it look as though her cheeks were a bit chubbier. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what LEGO could have done. That's just, like, an idea, but they might have tried that out and found it didn't work too well. I don't know. I'm just saying, I think this figure could look a bit more like young Emma Watson, but it still looks pretty alright. This alternate face, though, I think is pretty much perfect. I mean, the mouth shape is great, the eyes are good, the eyebrows. I mean, like, again, this alternate face, though, is definitely an improvement over the main face. I'm not sure if I'll display her with this one, since Hermione definitely doesn't get scared nearly as much as Harry or Ron, but I haven't decided yet. I might end up using this one as when I display the set. I don't know. Still, pretty cool figure, though, and here we can also see the back printing, which is pretty simple, but still pretty nice. The fourth figure we get in this set is Draco Malfoy, and he is the only Slytherin we're getting in the first wave, and he looks pretty nice. He is exclusive to this set. His hairpiece is the same one that he had in 2010, which makes sense since that hairpiece was designed specifically for him. So, I mean, of course he'll use it here. But here it's no longer in the standard tan color, but instead it's in this nice blonde, which I think looks a bit better. The face print, I'm not entirely sure about. I mean, like, I totally see what they were going for, but I don't think it ends up looking too much like Tom Felton. I feel as though maybe instead of, they should have gone a bit more, or for how he looked in 2001, because I feel as though that original face print looked pretty much perfect. In my opinion, I think that is, to date, the best face print we've had for Draco, but this is still pretty nice. And again, I like the face, I just don't think it has an amazing likeness to Tom Felton. The torso is pretty similar to Harry and Hermione's, but of course, and well, I mean, all the Gryffindor minifigures share the same torso, but obviously Draco's replaces the red and gold with green and silver for Slytherin, and also the wrinkles in it are a bit different. Draco's alternate face, I also don't think looks that much like Tom Felton, and personally, I'm not entirely sure how to feel about this. Like, I feel as though the eyes on this face are pretty well done, but the mouth, I think, could have been done a bit better. I don't know. I think it's how in the top, like, it sort of indents a little. I'm not a huge fan of that. But, I mean, like, this is still a pretty nice figure, though. Just definitely could have been a bit better in the facial area. The last Hogwarts student we get in this set is kind of a strange one. Susan Bones. She's a Hufflepuff. Cool to get a Hufflepuff minifigure in this set, like we've never had a LEGO Hufflepuff uniform, although I think it's kind of odd that we're getting a Hufflepuff in this first wave, but not a Ravenclaw like LEGO. How dare you? Why aren't you equally representing all the houses? I mean, as a Ravenclaw, I am very offended, but anyway, I think the torso print here looks pretty nice. Like, again, it's basically just the same as Gryffindor and Slytherin, but with the different colors and with the different wrinkle details. Her hairpiece is the Spooky Girl hairpiece from Collectible Minifigures Series 12, just in orange, which is a new coloration, but the face print on this figure is not new. It's actually the same one that Lex Murphy and Maisie Lockwood have in the new Jurassic World sets. But I think it's a fine reuse, and since Susan Bones is such a minor character, I can totally see why LEGO didn't think it was worth it to print her a new face, but honestly, I think it's kind of odd that we even get Susan Bones. Like, I mean, like, I understand LEGO wanting to include a Hufflepuff, I just think that she's kind of an odd choice, because there are definitely more recognizable Hufflepuffs from the series, like Ernie Macmillan, or Justin Finch-Fletchley, who would probably be the most recognizable to moviegoers from that's in Harry's year. There's also Hannah Abbott, the first girl to be sorted, and I think she would have fit better in this set because of that. I don't know. I just think it's kind of odd to include, Susan in this set, and again, it's still a nice minifigure. I like the hairpiece. It just seems as though a different Hufflepuff figure might have made a bit more sense. And while we don't have a picture of Susan's alternate face, again, she does share the same face print as Lex Murphy, so this is what her alternate face looks like. Yeah, it's alright. Next up, though, we have Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore. And this figure is actually pretty interesting. It's clearly based off of Richard Harris's portrayal of Dumbledore from the first two Harry Potter films, but I'm not really sure how to feel about it. I think the torso and leg printing is pretty much perfect. I really like the design on that, but I feel as though the rest of this figure might leave a bit to be desired. Like, I do think it's the best figure of Dumbledore we've gotten yet from LEGO. I just feel as though there are a few things I have to question about it. First off, his wand. LEGO just gave Dumbledore the standard tan wand piece. Miraculously, just the wand piece in tan. But, I mean, like, LEGO, shouldn't he have, like, the Elder Wand? Doesn't he have the Elder Wand in all the movies? And, well, obviously all the books as well, but really, we wouldn't even know it, because in the books, we don't know what it looks like, so it would probably just look like a normal stick. But, I mean, in the movies, the Elder Wand has a very distinct design with the little brown notches on it. So, I think it's kind of odd that we don't get a new mold for that. I mean, I'm guessing we will, like, when LEGO makes sets for Deathly Hallows, I'm guessing that then we'll get it, but it just seems a bit strange to not get it now. But, I mean, I don't really mind. I also think it's a bit odd how Dumbledore has light bluish gray hair and beard, since, of course, Richard Harris had definitively white hair. I mean, LEGO got it right on the brick head, so why not the minifigure? I mean, like, personally, I do like the hairpiece, though. Like, I feel as though definitely maybe the beard would be a bit wider to be accurate, but, like, there's really not much LEGO could have done for that on a minifigure without making the beard look wider than the torso, which wouldn't have made any sense. So I'm fine with it, with, like, the shape of the facial hair. I just think it should have been white. But I feel as though when you have the beard on, the face print looks really nice. I really like the eyes and the eyebrows and the spectacles. It really does resemble Richard Harris. Until you take the beard off, when we're left with this. And yeah, I know that no one's ever going to take Dumbledore's beard off for any reason, but LEGO. I like that you tried to print Dumbledore with a beard under his face. I mean, under his beard. Bleh. That's nice. It always annoys me when minifigures, when you take off the beard, they're just completely clean-shaven, so that's a nice touch. However, why is it white around his mouth? Is this them trying to act as though, like, they know he should have white facial hair? Because it should be all white. There isn't any variation in the color. And if they printed it white around the mouth, then shouldn't at least the Gandalf beard piece have been white? To match that? I mean, honestly, this just kind of makes him look like a bit of a monkey here, because he just has the white muzzle. It's just kind of odd. I don't really know what to think here. He kind of reminds me of Homer Simpson with that mouth. I mean, like, again, this is a pretty cool figure, and I think he looks great when he has the beard on. I just don't take the beard off, and yeah, pretty cool figure, though, overall, just a bit weirded out by the face. Next figure in the set, though, is also alright, although probably my least favorite of the 10. Here we have Professor Minerva McGonagall. And as you can see, first off, she has normal legs, ditching the standard slope piece that she's had for a while. And the reason LEGO gave her legs was that she could sit at the house table, which I think is a good reason, and it's definitely an interesting update to the character, and personally I don't mind it. I actually think it's kind of cool to see a change there. I've never really liked minifigures that use sloped legs. I always prefer getting just normal minifig legs. This is nice. And I also think the torso is an improvement. I mean, like, I actually, when I'm making this analysis, I actually have the 2010 McGonagall right here. And just comparing it, there's just a bit more detail on this torso, and overall it just looks a bit nicer, in my opinion. It looks more modern, more 2018. She has a black hat, which I believe is accurate to the movies. Personally, I preferred the dark green that matched, but that's still fine. Plus, I mean, I have the original well, not the original, but the 2010 McGonagall, so if I really decide I really don't like the black hat, I could just switch it out, but the face on this McGonagall, I feel, is definitely a bit off. I mean, I get what LEGO was going for, and I think it looks enough like Maggie Smith, but I do definitely prefer the 2010 version. I mean, just looking at it, oh, and I apologize for the dog in the background. I cannot do anything about that. I'm sorry. But anyway, I feel as though, I mean, I don't know, there's something about the face that I'm not a huge fan of, and I feel as though the 2010 version, it just looked a bit more like McGonagall to me. Still a good face, though. Interestingly, McGonagall actually has 2 heads in this set, as in, like, 2 entire head pieces, that she also has this angrier face, which I think looks pretty alright. Like, it's nothing amazing, but it's alright. I don't like it as much as the smiling face, but it's still a pretty good expression to have, and it's cool to get an angry McGonagall, since obviously the first 2 have been in just always smiling, so this is a nice change of pace. And also, I should mention that I think it's kind of odd that the house table is raised up a bit from the main floor, with the main floor being dark bluish gray and tiled off, while the house table... But anyway, the next figure we get in this set is Rubeus Hagrid, Keeper of the Keys and Grounds at Hogwarts, and he's a pretty awesome figure. Hagrid is probably my favorite character in the Harry Potter movies. Well, no, he's my second favorite character in the movies. My favorite is Luna, but since she's not introduced until film 5, Hagrid is my favorite of the film characters until that point. Again, this is going off the movies, not the books. In the books, Hagrid's in my top 5, but he's not that high. But anyway, enough about my opinions about the character. This Hagrid minifigure is awesome. I mean, okay, this guy has, like, 4 new molds just for him alone, starting with that new beard mold. Dang. I mean, like, personally, I've always looked at the 2011 Hagrid and been like, yeah, that's pretty good. Looks a lot like Hagrid. Although, looking at this, man, was I wrong, because this looks perfect. The beard and the hair, it just looks so good and scruffy. It just looks just like Hagrid. I mean, I guess that's the best thing about this figure. It perfectly captures the character. The face print, I feel as though the eyes and the eyebrows, just again, they just look perfectly like Hagrid. As opposed to that 2010 one where he just kind of looked really strange. And we have no idea what the mouth is going to look like on this guy, or just the rest of the face as a whole, but I'm interested to see it. I wonder if it'll be double-sided or not. I mean, like, LEGO could probably get away with just giving him a single-sided face, since of course, Hagrid, I mean, he has the beard on all the time, so all that would really change is his eyes, but I don't know, I mean, I would kind of like to get a double-sided face, even if it's not necessary, but anyway. Then you have his body mold, which is a new design, with the coat printed on, and basically just all of the clothing beneath that also printed on. Like, obviously, everything's printed on. Why am I saying that it's all printed on? That's obvious, but I mean, like, it's just a good design. I like the changing color to make it the more nougaty color instead of dark brown. This just looks more accurate. I also really like how the arms are now much thicker as opposed to being much longer. I think it just overall scales a lot better with the figure. And also, he just has normal minifig hands and not those stupid grooved ones now, so thank God. Yeah, and also, he has normal minifigure legs in the bottom of his body mold, just attached in there. I'm curious to see if those will be normal legs or short legs, but yeah. Anyway, you can see his accessories are the umbrella piece, newly molded in pink, which is cool to get. And then you also get a new mold for a lantern, which also comes in the Whomping Willow set, but it's cool to get here. Great gunmetal gray piece. So that's Hagrid, probably one of my favorite figures in the set, but another one of my favorites is coming right up, and that figure is Professor Quirrell. And I mean, like, the original Professor Quirrell is probably my favorite yellow-skinned minifigure. I feel as though the original really just captured the actor very well, and it just looked good. And obviously being the first minifigure with a double-sided face was a pretty big bonus for him. This Quirrell, though, I think it's also pretty nice. Obviously he uses the newer turban piece, which I think it looks a lot better. Also, it's in lavender, which is a much more accurate color than that bright purple that the original used. The face here I actually don't like as much as the original. I don't know, there's something about it, like, I don't know what it is. I think it might have something to do with the mouth. It just doesn't look too much like the actor for me. Like, I think the eyebrows and the eyes and the little bags under the eyes, I think those are pretty much perfect. I'm just not a huge fan of the mouth. I think maybe that could have been made a bit more, I don't know, maybe a bit more bumpy? I don't know, make him look a bit more stuttery, maybe. But, the torso print is nice. It is more accurate to just have the single purple sash going down from the turban instead of having an entirely purple shirt, so that's nice. And, yeah, pretty cool figure, but I know what you're all wondering. What does the Voldemort face look like on the back? I mean, this is Quirrell after all, so he has Voldemort on the back of his head, and, well, viewer discretion is advised. The new Voldemort face is legitimately a bit creepy, so I'm just going to give you a few seconds to click away from the video, if you don't want to have nightmares. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1... Yup. Okay, so maybe I was exaggerating a little. I mean, it's not that bad. It just looks super weird for a minifigure. I mean, like, when you think of a Lego Voldemort face, you think of just like a white minifigure head without it, but with a couple of nose holes on it. Maybe you also think of the original that had there was a minifigure with red snake eyes. But both of those, they still look sufficiently cartoony. They both looked very minifigure-y. This guy, like, I mean, this guy just looks a bit too realistic, in my opinion, almost, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a weird thing. Like, obviously he has the minifigure eyes, but other than that, he pretty much looks like he came straight off of the screen. Like, he has all of the wrinkles. He has the weird, sort of, like, eyebrow sections, like, not actual eyebrows, but just, like, you know, like, the parts of the skull that form the eyebrows, those look odd. The eyes are small and tilted, and it just looks kind of off. Then he has the nose holes, which is kind of odd, since in the first movie, Voldemort actually had a nose, so I think that's just kind of a detail that could have been left off. Then that mouth is absolutely perfect, although I think that might be what really throws me off, because it just looks so weird despite being so accurate. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like, honestly, this is a pretty accurate face. It's just the mouth, and also I think it's a bit odd how, I mean, like, obviously the outline of it, the idea is that it's sort of popping, it's sort of just extending and stretching and contorting past Quirrell's skull. So obviously you have the outline for the head on the back, and it's actually a little tilted to one side, which I think is a nice touch, but it just seems sort of odd to have those outlines on a minifigure head to show that this head is extending out the back, when obviously minifigures don't have heads shaped like that. They have minifigure heads. So, like, I totally understand why LEGO did this, and in fact, I think it actually might look a bit better, because this just makes his face look so much more unnatural and just wrong than if LEGO had just printed, like, the outline of a minifigure head around it on this face, but just an interesting observation, just a thought. Pretty cool figure, though, even if it is a little spooky. Of the figures, we've already gone through 9, and the last of them is Nearly Headless Nick, also known as Sir Nicholas de Mimsy Porpington. You know, for those of you that aren't rude. And this guy also looks pretty nice. He has the most recent Doc Brown hairpiece in light bluish gray, which is a nice part. And obviously, when you look at this guy, the first thing you notice is that, unlike the movie, where he is a transparent blue ghost, here he's entirely monochromatic, just grays, which I think is honestly pretty fine. I mean, it's definitely not accurate, but I mean, like, I think this perfectly works fine for a Lego ghost. But anyway, I think the face print is pretty accurate. It looks like the actor. Good face. I think the torso and legs are also nice. Pretty good level of detail on him. And, yeah, I mean, like, this was a figure I just wasn't expecting to get, so it's pretty awesome to get a figure of Nearly Headless Nick, despite the fact that a minifigure cannot be nearly headless, and I'm guessing that that fact is the reason why he's so sad on his alternate face, because he's not nearly Headless Nick anymore. He's either fully average Nick or completely Headless Nick. Although really, if he's completely Headless Nick, he shouldn't be nearly this sad because he can finally join the Headless Hunt. But yeah, pretty nice back torso print as well, but I really like this face. I mean, like, I feel as though the front side is a bit better, but this is still pretty accurate, and I like it. It's charming. But anyway, we do get a couple of other things with the set. We get Harry's owl Hedwig, who is pretty much the only thing in these sets that isn't new. Hedwig is identical to the version that we've been seeing since 2010, but to be honest, I don't really mind that. Hedwig was pretty great back then, and pretty great now, so yeah, it works. Good call on LEGO's part to keep using this design that works. We also get a new piece for Ron's rat, Scabbers. Scabbers is a pretty cute boy. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's like a murderer and junk, but honestly, who cares about that? He's adorable. Look at his little eyes. He's so cute. Look at his little tail. I mean, like, seriously, this guy's adorable. Why did they make Peter Pettigrew this adorable? But yeah, anyway. Then here we have a picture of what this set looks like if you combine it with set number 75953, the Hogwarts Whomping Willow, and, like, honestly, I feel as though combining these two sets, you get a pretty awesome setup here. Like, look. You have this huge section of Hogwarts, you have a boat coming in, you have the Fort Anglia, and you have the Whomping Willow, and you have just a ton, I believe a combined 16 minifigures, and obviously you get repeats of Harry, Ron, and Hermione in both, but that's still 13 minifigures that you can use just with these two sets, which is pretty awesome, I must say. But yeah, really, that's all I have to say in this analysis video about this great haul set. And I mean, like, for $100, this is going to be a set I get as soon as possible. It's not my favorite set from the new Harry Potter line, that's the Hogwarts Express, but this is the one that I'm anticipating the most. Does that make sense? This is not my favorite set, but it's the one I want the most. Yeah, pretty awesome set. 10 awesome minifigures, really awesome build. This is the set that finally gave us pure confirmation that LEGO Harry Potter was coming back in 2018. Yeah. And again, there's a reason I made this video, and it's not just that my analysis videos have recently been rather popular compared to everything else I do on my channel. There is actually a reason I'm doing this. You'll probably find that out in a few days'